when we start doing fractions as sums, last year you did the sums or the fractions when the denominators were the same. Then it's easy to know. I only count the numerators, so my denominator stays like this, 2 plus 1, and that is going to be 3. Again, you had to, I don't think you had to simplify last year, but just to get to an answer. Now this year we are going to look at denominators that's different, and there's a method that you can follow, or that you basically have to start with, and that is by using the LCM. I'm going to tell you now what this means, but just go to the denominators first. You'll see that there I've got thirds and there I've got quarters, so I can't add them, or I can't do a calculation with them unless these denominators are the same. And the method we are going to use to change them to get them the same is the LCM, by using the LCM. Now LCM is actually an abbreviation of the lowest common multiple. Okay, now the LCM, so the lowest, the C is for common, and the multiple. Now working from the back to the front, multiples you did at the start of the year, and that is when you have a number and you write the multiples. So in other words, you count in, say for example, 3s, or you count in 5s to get to a certain number. Okay, common means it's the same. So common means it's going to appear in the same, or the same number is going to appear in the multiples that I'm going to use. And the lowest means the smallest of the numbers. Now by using the LCM, you'll see where these names basically features. Okay, now to use this, and I'm not sure if your teacher showed this to you, or the examples, I'm not sure about this, but I'm just going to show you how to start with these sums. Okay, to use the LCM, I'm going to look at the denominators, so it doesn't matter what order. I'm going to take the 3, going to use a colon sign, and then I do the multiples of 3. So my first denominator, I count in 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I can basically use only 5 of them. I think that's more than enough. And then the other denominator is going to be a 4, so I do exactly the same. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and then it continues. I don't have to write them. And now I did the multiples, so I did the multiples of the 3 and the 4. Now I look at the common number, so that means the number, if I look at the multiples, that's going to be the same when I did the multiples. And you'll see the 12 and the 12 is going to be at both of them. I can do a circle around it, or use a color to do that. And if I look at the numbers before, or smaller than the 12, by using the multiples, you'll see that the lowest one, so the first number that you saw that's in both of the multiples, is going to be the 12, and that means it's my lowest number. So that will be my LCM of these two denominators. Okay, so that means I can change my denominators that's different to an LCM, or by using the LCM to get to a new denominator. Okay, now take the denominator, or the LCM, and I'm going to write it as a new denominator. That's going to be a 12. So my LCM there is just going to become my new denominator. Now I have to go back to my third and my quarter to see what must I multiply these ones with to get to a 12. Now an easy way, and that's also a part that confused a lot of people, is how many times must I multiply the 3 to get to a 12. Now if you did the multiples, an easy way to see is basically start there from the first multiple, and then I count 1, 2, 3, 4 till I got to my 12. So my 3 I'm going to multiply with 4. What I do at the bottom, I do at the top. With a 4, I had to use 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to multiply with 3. What I do at the bottom, I do at the top. So now I get my new denominator, but then my numerator also has to change. So then it's going to be 2 times 4. That's going to be 8 plus 4 times 3 is 12, and 1 times 3 is 3. So now just to do the calculation, my denominator stays the same, and I'm just going to do the adding of the numerators. 8 plus 3, that's going to be 11 over 12. There again I have to check if it's simplified. You can see that's a prime number and an even number, so I can't simplify these two. So that is my final answer. Okay, going to the next one. One of the things that's confusing to a lot of people is, or a short way they think they can use these ones or do these sums, is basically, if you look at the previous one, there you'll see that it looks like you multiplied the denominators with each other. So in other words, there's the 3 and the 4, and there's the 4 and the 3. In this case, basically your answer, your new denominator, was basically multiplying these with each other. But if you have another one, let's have a look at the quarters and the sixes. If it's going to be the same, so if I look at the 4 times the 6, or the 6 times the 4, as I did in the previous one, I'm going to get to 24. But the question is it my LCM? Okay, let's have a look and see what happens. Again, I'm going to look at the denominators. They are not the same, so I have to change it by using the LCM. And the way I'm going to do that is write the multiples. Up to 20 roundabout, and then also the 6, okay, if I do this one further, okay, just to show you, if I look at my LCM, that means my lowest number. Then I have to look from the left to the right. So 4, 8, 12, 6, 12. So there my LCM will be 12. If you look further, you'll see that 24 is also a common number that appears in both of them, but it's not the lowest one. So again, I did my multiples, and I found the two numbers that's the same, and if I keep on going with that, I'll find other ones, but I have to find the lowest one, and this will be the 12. So if in a test they ask you what will the LCM be, don't just go and multiply these two with each other. Be safer and write the multiples to see which one is the lowest one, or the smallest of all the multiples that you did. Okay, and in this case again, the 12 will be my new denominator, and I'm going to write it as 1. You can also split it up, write it in two separate fractions, or if I have 3, you can also write 3 of them. Okay, now to go back and see what did I multiply the 4 with to get to my 12. So go back to your multiples. It's 1, 2, 3. So what I do at the bottom, I do at the top, and then again the 6, 1, 2. So it's multiplied by 2, multiplied by 2. So now I get my new equivalent fraction. So it means it's equal fractions. 4 times 3 is 12, 3 times 3, and that's going to be 9, plus 6 times 2 is 12, and 5 times 2, and that's going to be 10. Okay, to finish the sum, I do my calculation. Denominator stays like that. Just add my numerators, 9 plus 10. and that's going to be 19. Now they will tell you again, but please do it in any case. This is an improper fraction, so here it means I have to simplify it again. If you don't simplify it, you'll only get marks up to there. Okay, now to do the simplifying, remember what we did earlier. Do the subtraction sum. 19 minus the 12, and that's going to be 7. If I look at how many times did I subtract the 12, it's going to be 1. And then my remainder is going to be my numerator over my denominator. Go back and check your fraction again. 1 stays like that, and 7 over 12, that's an odd number and an even number, so I can't simplify further. Just to show you, if you did the other way by just multiplying the denominators, not using the LCM, what your answer will look like, and will it be the same? So if I have 3/4 and I add 5/6, in some cases it might seem that it's a quicker way, but just to show you. Now if you multiply the denominators with each other, so 6 or 4 times the 6 times the 6, 6 times the 4, and times the 4, what will I end up with? Will my answer be the same? Let's have a look. 18, so 3 times 6 it's 18, and 5 times 4 it's 20. So if I add them and I get to an answer, then it's going to be 38 over 24. I have to do the same thing, I just have to simplify, and I can use this method again. 38 minus 24, $14. So how many times did I subtract the 24? That's once, and 14 over 24. Now you can see the 14 over 24, I can simplify again. The 1 stays like that, and there I can divide with 2 because both of them are even numbers. 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 24 divided by 2 is 24. 12. And if you look at these answers, you'll see that they are exactly the same, but my numbers that I basically used is going to be much bigger, and the chances that I make a mistake with these big numbers are basically easier to do than using smaller numbers, and that is one of the reasons why we do the LCM. Remember, with maths we try to make it easier for ourselves using smaller numbers, and we are allowed to use any method. So I can't tell you this is the method you have to use.